week that this is the big one. It's the litmus test of Wigan's newfound confidence. Can they back up after beating the Leeds Rhinos? They don't come much bigger than this. And the Saints will line up with Wellens, fully recovered from a broken hand, incredibly. Then they go Gardner, back after illness, Gidley, Gilmore in the centres now, Melly, Price and Eastman. Forward pack, Graham, Cunningham the skipper, Pulatua, Flannery, Wilkin and Dixon. And the bench, Clough, Ashurst, Armstrong and Emmett. And the coach is Mick Potter. Wigan, unchanged from the beating of Leeds last week. Phelps at fullback, Roberts, Gleeson captaining the side again, Carmont, Richards, Tompkins and Luluai. Forwards, Coley, Riddell, Prescott, Tompkins, Hansen and Flanagan. And on the bench it's Golding, Fielden, Palliasina and Mossop. And the coach is Brian Noble. So the Wigan Warriors, they won what they called the big one against Leeds last Friday. Now come some bigger ones as they continue their quest to bring silverware back to the boardroom for the first time since 2002. And what a moment for Martin Gleeson as he leads his men out here. Martin Gleeson, of course, whose career was absolutely kick-started in his time at St Helens prior to his move to Warrington before he arrived in Wigan. Saints 2 points clear of Leeds at the top, 5 rounds to go in their quest for a 5th successive League Leaders' Shield. A win would certainly pile the pressure on Leeds, who face the Warrington Wolves tomorrow. And out come the team, and mascots, and a young man who is walking out, in fact jogging out alongside his favourite player, Chris Flannery, is Lewis Padmore. 10 years of age, there he is. He plays for Clockface under-11s, and he wants us to say good luck to all of his teammates for the new season. Fabulous night for the young men who've come out with the start of the Super League. And the match referee tonight is Ben Thaler. He's the man in the middle. Now, before the game gets underway here, we're going to have a minute's silence because family and friends in the rugby league world at large are mourning the loss of a long-serving St Helens board member whose devotion to this club was a byword. He was born in Westfield Street in the town of St Helens. His name is William Bill Lyon. He was 85 and he died in a nursing home following a brief illness. His wife Joan passed away in 2005 and Bill is survived by a son William and daughters Catherine, Margaret and Elizabeth. He also leaves 8 grandchildren, James and William. William plays for Fatto Heath Crusaders, Saints cheerleader Charlotte, Rebecca, Katie, John and Laura. Bill Lyon, who was a director of this club until the age of 70 in 1994, and he came onto the board in 1976. So St Helens against Wigan it is. Well, it's dried up a bit because it has been drizzling and it has been pretty grim for the last hour or so here. But Paul Wellens is about to get this game underway. And it doesn't matter where they are in the table, this is a massive match for both of these clubs. First drive in comes from Paul Prescott. The game is in motion, and we had a fantastic weekend last weekend with Leeds Warrington to come tomorrow, Steve-O. I don't think this will be any different.
Yeah, the derby game that they say is the best in rugby league. Well, we'll soon find out. It will be tough. It always is against these two great sides. Interesting to see how Paul Wellens, he's back after breaking his hand. It's a remarkable recovery. I just get the impression, I can't really see, but I think he's got some sort of gossamer glove that's protecting that hand. It doesn't appear to be strapped up tightly, but obviously the medical people have got this gossamer glove to give him confidence, and he gets his first opportunity there.
Indeed, taking the kick from Thomas Luluai on the fly and getting to the halfway line, Paul Wellens, before the Wigan chasers closed in. He will play the ball here to Cunningham, will find Francis Melly, and Melly is dumped to the ground for St Helens. Graham is the driver now.
Pretty solid defence by Wigan. That's been the key right the way through their success over the past 5 weeks. They really have got into the opposition, into the faces, and the 2 and 3, trying to get the man on his back, trying to prevent. The one thing that man at the dummy half, Cunningham, needs is a quick play of the ball to take full advantage.
Little slip by Andrew Dixon. Here is Tony Pulatua, and he gets to within 9 metres of the line before he is tackled, and I don't think he read the script there, Pulatua, and I don't think Mick Potter was terribly impressed with that. I don't think he heard the call.
I don't think anybody in the Saints, they realised it. I think that just the emotion got to them. You could see that Mick Potter shaking his head. You've got Kieran Cunningham out there, that he's the captain, he really should have controlled things.
This is immense pressure from St Helens, though. Wigan are really struggling to get out of their own quarter in the opening 2 sets of 6 that we've seen them in possession.
Well, it's not unfamiliar for Saints to do this in the first half. They blew the Harlequins away last week in that first 40-minute period, partly helped by a penalty count that was 9-3 in the favour, but still they started with such pace and position, and they want to do that again here as Riddell makes a break.
Great break from Riddell, but what about this flying tackle here from Cunningham?
Just didn't get it right, did he? Looked high on Prescott. That's a great kick.
It is a great kick. St Helens will begin this set of 6 deep in their own territory, but a great run from Aidy Gardner.
Oh, went for the big hit, just didn't follow through with the shoulder.
Went for the coconut, didn't he? It looked as though he was a bit high there, Kieran Cunningham.
Certainly glanced off the top of the shoulder, that's for sure. Well, as expected, Brian Noble, the Wigan coach, obviously realising that Paul Wellens could be a weakling with that broken bone in his hand. They've really worked him over so far. Kick straight away directly to him.
Well, they're all offside, the Wigan defenders. Referee, let's play go on. Here is Gidley. That's the last. It was like a dog's hind leg, the Wigan defensive line. Here now is Kyle Eastman. There's the high kick. Here's a tester for Cameron Phelps. Wellens is after this. Oh, it's dropped and it's knocked forward. He'll play the first knock on, and the first knock on came, I think, from Wigan.
Cameron Phelps, the fullback, read a light meal of this. Put under a lot of pressure, didn't he, by Paul Wellens?
Actually, he didn't get a touch to it at all.
That'll be the turnover. And Wigan very, very happy to get away with that. Good work, though, by Wellens. It was a really high kick from Kyle Eastman.
And if you want to win here, you have to be able to play the game as quickly as St Helens. You have to think quickly, react even quicker, and move the fastest at times. That's the challenge. It's not necessarily that they've got faster players. If it was just a sprinting race, I'm not saying Saints would win, but the speed of thought sometimes superior to their opponents.
Riddell, a good run as the rain comes tumbling down again at Knowsley Road. I think you better have brought a brolly again, Bill, hadn't you?
Absolutely, Eddie. It's bang on time, this rain as well, because it's literally just started getting heavier by the second as well. Bit of a breeze blowing, so the conditions not too favourable, and they don't look to be getting any better. You have to say that the pitch, as ever, in cracking shape here.
Oh, and a knock on from Aidy Gardner. They will put the scrum down. That ball was spiralling in the air, and Gardner only back in the side tonight after illness. Well, he couldn't get to that, could he?
He misjudged it.
He did well, though, to recover, because Pat Richard, had he hacked that forward, could have scored.
Yeah, certainly did, but he had to as well. It's very difficult when you're going to have to go backwards rather than try to run forward to catch the ball. Just misjudged it completely.
I think Wigan have scored 8 tries against St Helens this year, half of them from kicks. I think there's going to be pressure on the back 3 tonight.
This is Sam Tompkins now. It's with George Carmont, and Price is quickly out of the line to bring him down along with John Wilkin. Mark Riddell waits. They're 20 metres away or thereabouts from the Saints line. They're now 11 metres away. Progress made on that particular tackle. Riddell will be picking the ball up off the boot of Prescott. This is Tompkins, this is Phelps. Oh, and Amos Roberts could not take the pass in. That was a chance for Wigan.
Certainly was. You overrun it there, and an opportunity gone there for Roberts. And again, we see so many times, don't we? This is the top-level rugby league, and yet players run in front of the man about to pass the ball. What's wrong with them to run up to him? Good work by Tompkins. Then the fullback came in well. Look, he was half a metre in front.
Saints in possession then. 6 minutes gone. It's Graham who'll drive it forward again. The man of steel for 2008, featured on the front cover of the St Helens Matchday programme today. This now is Chris Flannery. It's a bit high from Riddell.
No doubt, Flannery caught it fair and square, right in the mush. Boom. Well, there's a bundle of energy, isn't it? Mark Riddell today. We've had two really good runs from dummy half. Obviously, Brian Noble, his coach, is saying, let's give you the best 20 minutes. Well, then they'll probably replace him.
His duel with Kieran Cunningham tonight will be one of the features of this game. This is Graham now, and St Helens starting on the front foot. They're about 15 metres away from the Wigan line with Cunningham, and he flicks the pass to Pulatua. And he's a giant of a man, is Pulatua. Cunningham waits again, looks for the runners. It's Eastman this time. Back it comes to Price, and Price trying to ghost his way through the line. And Flanagan did well to cut down the option then. Wilkin dummy half this time. Here is Eastman now. Short ball to Graham. Short again to Pulatua. Good ball from him to Flannery, and Flannery finds Gidley. And Wigan muscling up in defence on tackle number 4. Now Eastman. Oh, Graham wasn't expecting that.
He should have been. At any time, you've got to keep your eye on the ball there. It was a nice little inside pass by Eastman.
This is Flannery. He stabbed the ball to the in-goal area, and the ball will beat everybody and runs over the dead ball line. A tap, restart on the 20-metre mark. Terry Matterson, all we would have expected the start here. A lightning quick 8 minutes.
It's a cracking start, very intense. Both teams are defensively very strong. Both teams come up with a few mistakes there and a couple of poor options on last play, but it's very exciting. I think it's going to continue that. Even though the rain's coming down, I'm not too sure what difference that's going to make, because both teams are throwing the ball around.
Yes, they're only trained to play one way, these two, and that's open and attractively. This is Joel Tompkins. He gets to the halfway line. The mark here, and he didn't really get the call.
I'm going to play it back here.
But that's common sense, Eddie. He's actually making him go back. Oh no, he's given a penalty.
He's got to have a penalty, because he told him to play, then he moved. He told him again to play,
well,
and
he said get up.
No,
he said get up.
Yeah, and then he says play. He went to them and then looked. Then he goes down. He's got no option but to give the penalty. He's moved off the mark.
Was he tackled though? Was he tackled?
I think he was a victim of circumstance there. He said to get up. He meant to get up and play the ball. So that was a real tough one.
Well, St Helens won't be complaining. They are in possession. Once again, Cunningham waits at dummy half. This is how Wilkin goes himself head to head with this Wigan defence, and Paul Prescott and Flanagan dealing with that threat. Cunningham is leaning on the arm of Prescott, and the referee Ben Thaler wasn't going to be fooled by that. Eastman now!
Great run. You know, it really has come on a bundle, hasn't it? Kyle Eastman, not only just for his starting when he gets a ball, but individual plays, becoming more of a team player. That's a kick!
And the ball bounces timely. And I think Matt Gidley's going to get the first try for St Helens. He is. It flicked up off a Wigan toe, I think. And it came straight into the arms of Matt Gidley. He was full back against Harlequins last week, and that's his first try since he got one against the Celtic Crusaders on June the 26th. He's playing as well as ever this year. He's just agreed a new one-year deal, and Matt Gidley has given St Helens the lead here in the one that matters most to the supporters. It's Saints 4, Wigan 0, kick to come.
Beautiful little kick through here. Great work by Wellens. Okay, they got the look of the green, didn't they? ricochets off Thomas Luluai's boot. Bang, straight into it. He goes for it, Luluai, and it's a gig for Gidley in the end. He won't score one as easy as that, but it's at a crucial time as well. Both sides trying to probe open that gap. They found it with a beautiful kick. Super stuff there. But sometimes you need the look, Terry.
Yeah, they had a couple of pieces of luck there. The first one was the penalty, and it got St Helens in the right position in the field. I feel Wigan's defensive structure has been really good. They've handled the stuff out the back that St Helens go to the line and hit out the back. But you can't beat, that's just bad luck. It's just one of those things. It's important that St Helens keep their heads down now and work hard because they haven't done anything wrong. Sorry, Wigan.
Well, Eastman has missed the conversion of Matt Gidley's try. But let's take a listen now what Ben Thaler was saying when we had that incident and the penalty was given against...
Play up, three, play ball! Play ball! Play ball! Come on. Play your ball!
Well, he was obviously telling him about 2 or 3 times to get up and play the ball. And so he had no option really other than to give Wigan, St Helens the penalty.
Yeah, I'm sure Joel Tompkins could hear that really clearly.
Be careful on the look, be careful.
Well, I know what you're saying in this crowd, but it's not really the referee's job, I suppose, only to make the signal and do his best.
Well, if you look at it again, you'll see that he's actually, the player is looking at the official, and Thaler is waving the hand. Get up, play the ball.
Go.
Difficult. Price.
Okay. 40.
It's a good kick, but Richards is underneath it. The rain slanting down. It was forecast for tonight and much of tomorrow throughout the country, which won't, of course, be pleasing the England cricketers. Wakefield ahead 12-0 against Salford. Wigan have the penalty. Meanwhile, Paula Tuya, the man pinged by the referee. Interference at the play of the ball.
Well, here he is. Just got his arm trapped in it. I don't think he would intend to slow it down, but the ref's not seen it that way, and it's a chance for Wigan, who did expose St Helens on this right-hand side as Wigan attack.
Oh, no, wait.
Amos Roberts had a chance to score. They created the overlap.
Wait there. Go.
Gleeson just waiting while a second football cleared from the pitch. Here is Andy Coley, who had arguably his best game in Wigan colours last week against Leeds. Riddell, and it's now the youngster Mark Flanagan. His full Wigan debut last Friday. He hangs on to a first-team spot here tonight. Riddell finds Luluai, and the runner was Carman, but he was picked out with a super tackle from James Graham. It's Harrison Hansen, beg your pardon. Luluai! Mistake. No advantage. Referee will put the scrum down.
Golden opportunity, and Luluai knows it as well. Just took his eyes off the ball at the crucial moment.
That's twice that Wigan have been down this end and they haven't got to the back end of the set. In these conditions, if you don't make the most of the opportunities against St Helens, you're not going to win the game.
Here's Pulatuya again.
One.
The conditions getting worse, if anything. Looks like an autumnal sky. Never mind one for the back end of July, but the players will be putting that very much to the back of their mind as Cunningham feigned to go right and came left and found Wilkie.
Well, the ball's becoming extremely slippy now because of the conditions, and it really will be just trying to take it tight. And he's gone for offside. Luluai came out of the traps a little bit too early. It was a beautiful tackle though, wasn't it? There you see it, 4 to 5. Stood in front of the official, Ben Thaler.
So St Helens with a glorious position again, and here now is Flannery.
Oh, they nearly caught out the Wigan defence then. Not so sure that was a straight pass when they took the tap onto Graham.
Price to Eastman, Eastman to Wilkie. Tackle low down by Martin Gleeson. Price in at dummy half. He will give a short pass there to Andrew Dixon. Dixon with legs wheeling gets to his feet. Wilkin, not the best pass. Eastman, he managed to stand up though after he collected it off the deck. Coley finished him off. Cunningham finds Graham. Graham finds Price, who finds Wellens, and Carmont does well to bring him down. And Could have been a flop there from Harrison Hansen.
Not only that, the fullback Paul Wellens were looking for the second phase. There'd have been someone there, and he's knocked on under pressure as Kyle Eastman.
That was on the last, it'll be the turnover.
Wait!
Good work, but... Well, this is the quick tap. Ooh, very close to a forward pass there. And looking to get away with it. But the one thing about St Helens, they're eager to get on with it. And they nearly caught out the Wigan defence napping.
Surrender!
Wigan lost 22-16 at Bridgend on June the 13th. They have done remarkably well ever since.
Well, Brian
So
Noble,
this is their big test.
yeah, the Brian Noble has made it quite clear that it was a real big wake-up call. Not only just for the players, but for him himself. And that'll be a knock-on. Oh, was it dragged out? Back to 6.
Brian Noble wanting his first win on this ground as the Wigan coach. Had a bit of success with the Bradford Bulls. Wigan with another set of 6 here. One-on-one with Eastman.
He's got it right as the official.
Here's Prescott now. Good hit by the Saints defenders.
The most important thing for Wigan, and Brian Noble knows it, is that they've got to try and settle down in the St Helens attacking zone. They've got to make sure that at least get the last kick in, maybe to get the second set of 6.
Tompkins brothers combining there. Joel plays it to Riddell. He finds Coley, who goes straight at young Dixon. He's featured in the last 4 as Andrew Dixon there at the marker position. There's Sam Tompkins. That's a lovely kick. That's what they're after. They made a bit of a mess of it, but Wellens to the rescue.
Good work by young Tompkins. Sam knew exactly if we kick early on the tackle count, you may be able to catch Paul Wellens out. They didn't, but it applied the pressure, doesn't it? Oh, it's good work.
Okay, Paul, come on, mate.
Great to see these youngsters
Guys.
showing their skills, but it's lovely to see how they're improving.
Oh, they're certainly improving, there's no doubt about that. And again, Wigan are improving. That's the first set that they've got to the back end, and they've got a second set on their line now. And they need to continue to create pressure, and it's the first time they've done that.
0-0 at the KC Stadium, Hull against Huddersfield. Vital matches all tonight in terms of qualification for the playoffs. This is Riddell. Riddell finds Luluai, short ball from him to Harrison Hansen. Hansen goes without it under the pressure of the challenge. Here comes Wellens. That's the 0 tackle, just got over the advantage line.
Well, they come up with a mistake from Hansen, but they were very slow again to react. Remember, way downfield, St Helens nearly caught them out in their defensive quality. You've got to be a little bit careful of that. They were caught out early last week against Leeds. Okay, they finally got their act together and sorted out a convincing win against the Rhinos, but I must say they were being split open in and around the play the ball area, Wigan.
Wilkin, that's a dab down the line looking for Francis Melly. It's a great kick. Phelps with work to do, goes to ground and does it as well. Surrendered to the tackle from Gilmore. Now Sam Tompkins. Oh, Gleeson was hanging round, loitering with intent.
He's one of the few who got back to put his hand up and say, I'll carry the ball forward.
Here he comes. Plays the ball to Riddell. Riddell will drive it forward again, but is tackled well on tackle number 3 this set of 6. That was Roberts. Here is Luluai. Pops the pass up. Carmont gets it in field to Prescott. Prescott gives it back to Roberts. Was Roberts tackled then without the ball? I think he was. He's appealing to the referee. He nabbed the ball through, did Roberts, and he's chasing it, and he was held back.
Certainly there's a couple of hands went onto him. Yeah. Maybe pulled away at the vital moment, but that could have brought about a penalty. Good work by the loose forward, the youngster Andrew Dixon.
It was a gamble so close to his own line. That's why St Helens have got the possession here with Eastman, and now Price, and here is Flannery. That was an important tackle by Luluai and Hansen. Price, Saints wanting to put a bit of pace into this. Here is Eastman. Wilkin called for it. Wilkin got it. Gleeson was first to him. Tompkins finishes him off.
Will they use Gilmore as a dummy runner? No, they've gone the other way.
Cunningham. And it's young Mark Flanagan who is first to him. And that's the turnover again.
That's the second time now that St Helens and Kieran Cunningham's run it on the last play. It didn't look like what he knew was last play, and he's limping back on side as well. This could be a big blow for St Helens.
Tell you what, a bigger blow is the fact that young Sam Tompkins came in very, very late. He was still moving, and really gave the left leg of Cunningham a good old workout. Cunningham got to his feet, gave him the daggers with the eyes and said that was a bit late, perhaps.
Fielden's on. Stuart Fielden, his 99th Wigan appearance, joined them 3 years ago. Palliasino is out there as well. This fellow makes ground when he comes forward. He only comes on the field in short bursts.
But he's effective, isn't he?
Tompkins sliding the kick through there, all along the deck to Gardner, picks it up. Whoa! What a hit from Harrison Hansen.
And that's not the first one that is picked out as well. Hansen is on fire. And there's problems for Cunningham, you know. There is big problems for him. That late tackle with the youngster, Sam Tompkins, way downfield, and he's going off his Cunningham.
Hold it, hold it!
Yes, he's leaving the field. He just had to look over his shoulder, and his look, well, if looks could kill, Sam Tompkins would be feeling the pinch just now.
Go.
Wilkin and Eastman just drifts the kick over the top. And will that run dead in goal? Well, Cameron Phelps took the gamble. Gardner was following up. Here's the incident. Oh dear.
It's going to be interesting to see who goes to dummy half here. John Wilkin had the last two plays at dummy half, and it doesn't look like Kieran Cunningham will be back on. He doesn't look good at all. He doesn't go down unless he's injured.
Well, the thing is that Cunningham perhaps relaxed his body, thinking that the tackle had been complete. It was 50-50 to say whether he was still moving or whether that tackle should have been called by the official. Either way, Sam Tompkins rattled it.
Chris, don't go back in.
Penalty here to Wigan. Bit of interference at the play of the ball. The problem's mounting a little bit for St Helens here because there's no Roby, of course. As Terry Mattison pointed out, he asked the question as soon as Cunningham left the field, who will go in at dummy half now? I suppose you look at it and you think about it, anyone of the St Helens side could go in at dummy half.
Well, I suspected that you'd have to throw in Kyle Eastman there. They need a little bit of spark in and around that play the ball area. You can't put someone that's a trundler. You want speed, you want to test and ask a few questions of the defence.
Palliasino will do that now. It's a good run from Palliasino.
You know, it's amazing, he's so strong, but how many defences try to go high on him?
Another penalty to Wigan. Another interference at the play of the ball. Yeah, Pekka Palliasino is a 6-metre square cube, isn't he?
Yeah, but I'd rather have the lower cube than the higher cube.
You'd rather have the legs that are holding the cube up. Fielden now will drive it in. Wigan getting themselves back into this game. They're not out of it, not by any means at 4-0, but you know what I mean. Tompkins, good ball to Joel. And good defence from Leon Price and company.
It's had to be a good tackle as well. It looked as though the youngster Tompkins, Joel that is, was going in.
Here's Palliasino again.
This is where Luluai has to start taking control. Bring someone late. Phelps maybe.
He's found Luluai from the play of the ball. There's the short pass back on the inside to Harrison Hansen. 4 tackles gone. Saints' defence has stood firm so far. Luluai again. The last pass is going astray. And that one pleased Brian Noble, who is in search of his 200th win as a coach in the Super League.
Not the best. Not the best pass at all. I just don't like top-class professional players who pass the ball without actually looking where you're going to pass the ball to.
It's been that sort of a night already, running repairs.
He'll be frustrated though, Brian Noble. He knows that they've had so many opportunities, and yet they've yet to get points on the board.
Well, 4 handling errors apiece, but I suppose that you can't really expect much else on a night like this. And as the debate rages, of course, about stadia, you look around this ground and there is a corner to our left-hand side and a full end and a half over on the other side, and indeed all in front of the main stand. They're all exposed to the elements, the supporters. And St Helens fans, they've been reluctant in many ways to leave Longley Road, but they would be delighted to move to their new stadium. And according to Tony Colquitt, the chief executive here, that's bang on course for some time in 2011. The man with the bandage on his head, by the way, is Paul Clough.
It looks like John Wilkin has gone to dummy half there, so he'll be controlling the player around the ruck side. I don't think that'll make a massive difference. Obviously, Kieran Cunningham's influence is massive, but he's a very smart player, John Wilkin.
This is Eastman, he gets it wide to Gidley!
Fight! Move!
Still 0-0 at the KC Stadium, Hull against Huddersfield. Wakefield ahead at Salford last time we heard. Eastman, oh, brilliantly picked out of the air by Wilkin. Long pass, then finds Gilmore. Gilmore finds Melly. Melly flicks the ball in field. Oh, Palliasine has missed it! And Clough has dropped it. Play on, says the referee.
Well, they really should have panicked. They should have retrieved that football and then set up. Clough just snatching at the football when panic was not needed.
It was though the last tackle, wasn't it? They had to keep it alive at that point. Wigan had chose to put the pressure on Eastman, and that's what happens if you rush on the kicker.
Yeah, but he was touched by Palliasine. That was back to 6.
Well, Palliasine looks like he's blowing for tugs at the moment. He's put in a few good runs.
Well, let's first play. It's not tactics, Brian Noble, to have him as a sweeper, is it, in defence? He's having to rest, don't worry. I'm not surprised. This is a hectic pace.
Gleeson, he could have been penalised then for moving off the mark, or Saints could have been penalised for interference once more.
Well, I'm going to give Ben Thaler a little bit of praise here as well. It's a hectic pace. They're all getting tired. You can see that. It's bad conditions, and both sides are trying to milk the penalty. They're all struggling, his arms and legs going all over the place, and Ben Thaler says, get on with it.
I agree with you for once, Steve. I think he's doing a fair... This is a really tough game to referee, and he's not going to get everything right, but I think he's doing an okay job.
Well, all the players will be happy for the slight rest that they've had there, waiting for that scrum to form. This is Francis Melly. Melly is pushed back by 1, 2, 3 defenders.
I'm just wondering, Eddie, whether our guest, Mr. Mattison, thinks that Mr. Ben Thaler might be in charge of one of his games soon.
He'll keep his own counsel about that, I'll tell you.
I did say okay.
It's Clough again, the most experienced man on the St Helens bench. He's only 21 years of age, but he is their only ever present this year, Paul Clough. He's played every game. Wilkin finds Graham. Here is Eastman. And Eastman, the referee shouted at Thomas Lulawai, keep out of the way, and Lulawai put a hand on him.
Well, Brian Noble will be furious because the way that Harrison Hansen has been defending so far, and you can see that he stepped out in front. It shouted to him. Hansen did all the hard work. Now they're under pressure.
This is Jake Emmett.
And we haven't really seen a solo effort from Eastman as yet. Will we see it now?
Well, here he is, Kyle Eastman, and he's looking for Price. It's that pattern of play that Paul Cullen picks out each and every week on Boots and All when we look at the tries and how they are scored. The looping runs from St Helens involving Price and whoever he is playing alongside at scrum half. Tonight it's Eastman.
Well, I tell you what, Liam Price is furious about that. He threw the dummy, wanted the second phase. No one was in support.
Flannery! Oh, he nearly twisted and put the ball over the line.
Surely he lost that.
They've lost it here. That's the turnover. It's 1-on-1, and it's well stolen by Lulawai. He did lose it, you're right.
But did Carmont brief it out 2-on-1? Well, he's trying all the tricks of the trade. Mick Potter not happy with it. I think that was a steal.
I think there was a couple of calls that they got wrong there, but in the end I think justice was right.
Wigan desperate to get out of their own end. And St Helens making it very, very difficult for them. In terms of territory, it must be St Helens' match. It is on the scoreboard, 4-0.
Territory's not the be-all and end-all, the way we're starting to see in Super League. You actually don't need to have territorial advantage to win. When Wigan played at Easter, they absolutely hammered St Helens. They were on the try line. The amount of possession they had attacking St Helens, and yet they lost the game. It's about taking your chances here at this level.
Well, it was a panic kick from Richards that got Wigan to the halfway line. That's a big hit from Palliasine. Also in there was Lee Mossop, Gardner.
Boy, this is rugged defence from both sides. And you mentioned, Eddie, before the game started, that perhaps St Helens a little bit light on their subs bench. The interaction and the interchange by the two coaches, Mick Potter and Brian Noble, is going to be so important, especially late in this match.
Last tackle here for St Helens, just 17 or so metres away from the line. There's Eastman, little angle kick, and it's gobbled up by Cameron Phelps. Phelps escaped one net, but he couldn't get away from Gidley's challenge. Cunningham watching on. Oh, big mistake here. Golding only just on the field.
Oh, schoolboy error, I'm afraid. Trying to rush it. He may be on the bench, but he's still behind them, isn't he?
A moment to forget for Darryl Goulding, a moment to savour was when he scored a try for Salford in their victory against Saints not too long ago. But what will that mean in terms of tonight's occasion? Huddersfield ahead, Saints ahead here and looking for more on the half-hour mark. Wellens is the dummy half, and this is Emmett.
You just get the feeling, you know, that the standoff Leon Price is starting to just make his way through the defence.
Price is here, good ball. The ball was spun into the arms of Matty Ashurst. Wigan defending for their lives here. Wilkins stabs the kick in, and it goes dead.
It came off Tompkins' head, but did it come off him while his foot was on the line? We'll just have a check, will Mr. Thaler.
Well, Clough was hunting, and he's asked the video referee tonight, Phil Bentham, to just take a look at this.
It hits his head here. There, that'll be a drop out underneath the sticks. Wonderful, wonderful.
You think he played for the ball with his head, do you, or is he being pushed by Clough?
I think Clough is just going for the football, not interfering with the man, and he's got it right. Wigan fans don't like it, but nice little bit. That's perhaps the difference between the two sides at the moment.
You're telling me here that Tompkins is made to play with that with the head, are you?
No, he's tried to make it with his hand, and Tompkins just happened to head it.
Well, the referee apparently has said he shielded the ball, which means that he has effectively played at the ball. He's shepherded the ball over the line, and it's come off him last.
Well, I'm right, and Mr. Thaler's right.
And by the way, Phil Bentham's right. He's the video referee who made the call.
Joe!
That makes three of us then.
Good.
You miss out.
Again, this is Graham.
2. Move! Hold it. Go.
The pressure on this Wigan defence has been enormous.
3. Movement!
Emmett waits at dummy half. Did he move off the mark? Then
Yes,
John Wilkin.
could have been penalised for that.
Not tackled, not tackled. Yes, he is tackled now. Palliasina had hold of his boot. This is Leon Price! And Leon Price gets the ball away brilliantly. It's Jake Emmett. And again, the Wigan defence stands firm on the last tackle now.
And again, Leon Price is screaming at his mates, saying, "Where were you?"
Back it comes this way to Wilkin. Here's Gilmore. Gilmore goes inside one. The pass goes to ground. Still on the last. Knock on by Wilkin. Wigan survive another raid. The pressure is enormous.
Mick Potter will be furious. That's the third occasion in this first half that St Helens have not got a good kick away when it comes to the last. On that occasion they lose possession. On the other two occasions they just got tackled with a ball. It was a turnover.
I think you've got to give credit to the Wigan defence. They've thrown everything at them, St Helens, and yes, their last play options haven't been great. But I think that the rushing Wigan line and the quality of their inside defence has really forced them into mistakes.
But how long can they hold out, Phil?
Go.
I think they could go the length here and score, Eddie. I've seen this often in sport here. They burst through the line.
4.
If they can press on here now, this is the thing that why sides come here and lose. You're hurting, you're tired. You just think, well, that's the way it is. But Saints will just press that bit harder. And so because they've learned, if you press for a minute or two more than the opposition, they'll eventually crack. You can't crack first. It's like a stirring competition. You can't afford to blink.
Well, he didn't find touch with the kick, so that lets Wellens to come back in field with it, but he's dragged it back underneath his own post, almost 10 metres out. Tackled by Flanagan. This is shades of last week, isn't it? Wigan under pressure for all of the first half, and right before the half-time siren, they scored. And history was changed.
I think it's crucial that either side get a point, get some more points on the board before the half-time break. As you say, I think St Helens will be very buoyed by the fact that they can get over for another try. But I'm with Phil, you know, Wigan, they still have the capabilities of scoring a long-range try.
That kick from Thomas Luluwai is far too deep. From Kyle Eastman. Wrong team.
Wait!
Here is Amos Roberts. Oh dear, Roberts. Well, the Wigan crowd will be holding their heads in their hands. What an error. Just lost it. Under a bit of pressure from Ashurst.
Sean Ainscough played in the second team match that took place before this game on the wing for Wigan. I bet he was wishing he was out there on the right wing for Wigan tonight.
Yes, what on earth has happened to Sean Ainscough? He seems to have disappeared under the radar.
Heads in, John! Heads in, well done. Out!
Phil's just told us he's playing for the reserves. This is Matt Gidley. Wilkin in again at dummy half. Looks and finds Graham. Graham will drive it in. It's very, very good defence from Wigan so far, but I ask the question again. How long can they hang on? This is Emmett. Wellens bounces off Luluwai. Can't get away from Mossop. Fielden's in there as well.
Now this is where they're going to get the second phase and come a little bit late off Leon Price.
Wilkin. Graham gives the ball to Eastman, and Eastman is cut down by the challenge from Martin Gleeson. Flannery waits at dummy half, comes this way, finds the ground. They lose a little bit of momentum, and they lose even more momentum with that. Gilmore is tackled, and I think there's a problem here for a Wigan player. He's not moved as Phelps takes the high kick. It's Darryl Goulding, I think, who is down. He hasn't moved since he attempted to get that loose ball in the tackle with Gilmore.
Terry, do teams get frustrated when they have this long attacking the opponent's line? What tends to happen in rugby league in this situation? You're there 5 minutes but can't get through the line.
Well, we're going to find out, aren't we? But again, I think Wigan's defence have been outstanding. So, but this game's for 80 minutes, and St Helens, ever since Super League started, they've been playing for 80 minutes. So I don't think it's a massive problem, but they will be frustrated.
Well, I'm not sure what's happened here with Darryl Goulding at all, but since that moment he has not moved.
Well, it just went down awkward, didn't he? He was able to grab hold of the shirt of Gilmore. Whether it's sort of pulled out the shoulder, I'm not right sure. There's the left arm grabbing the shirt.
Sam,
either it's just
when you're defending 10, mate, let's hold the 10 when you're defending.
Yeah, it is the shoulder they're treating.
But it's the one that he fell on, not the one that was holding the shirt.
If he has dislocated and he leaves the match, Eddie, it does put Wigan under a bit of pressure, because if you look at the substitutes, Goulding was the only one who could play in the backs. They've moved Martin Gleeson infield to accommodate Goulding on the field. They'll have some shuffling around to do, and maybe either Joel Tompkins, Hansen or Flanagan will at some stage have to play a little wider.
Well, there you go. That's Brian Noble, who is passing some information down to his training staff about how they will regroup if this injury proves to be so serious that Goulding has to depart. And he tried to get up then.
You just saw it go back in, I think.
It's amazing the amount of body contact that we've had in this game, and for looks like a serious injury to be so innocuous, and it's quite incredible.
Well, it's obviously a shoulder problem, and Steve-O, I think, believes they've just actually put the shoulder back in if it was just out of the joint slightly. But as Goulding goes off the field, let's hear from Bill. He's got news of Kieran Cunningham.
Yeah, Kieran Cunningham, meanwhile, is headed short time ago for the Saints dressing room, and it seems to be a bit of a knee problem. I don't think it's anything that's going to prevent him coming back on. It had to be a lot more than that. But ice on the knee for Cunningham, and maybe just keeping one eye on fixtures ahead, although surely you can't afford to do that for a game like this.
No, neither coach was interested in talking about the events next week. They're more concerned with what is going to happen in the top 8, because it is a real struggle behind Saints and Leeds. And talking of the top 8, third-placed Huddersfield are ahead 12-0 against Hull FC, which could just about spell the end of the Hull challenge for 2009.
Smart work there again from the hooker, Mark Riddell. He was looking towards to get a penalty, and again by Luluwai. This is good stuff. But they should get away.
They do.
That was
Luckily.
forward. That's forward. How many forwards do you want in a dozen?
Gleeson finds Roberts, and Roberts just taps it down the line. Well, there have been about a dozen, but there were 3.
Well, if they'd have scored off that, I'd have stayed up here on the gantry for about a fortnight. I wouldn't have gone down amongst this mob underneath us. That one was all right, but it was the other two that with it. Dearie me.
You'd have been safe, Steve, you would not got the whistle. Salford fighting back. 12-6 down.
So they don't blame me for anything,
Nope.
perhaps? No.
Here's Melly.
I know one thing, you wouldn't be there to rescue me.
Oh no, you'd be on your own. Wilkin and Emmett again.
Well, the opportunities from both sides, but I must feel that Mick Potter perhaps will be just querying the fact that they've had so much possession, good field position as well, but they're only leading by 4 points. And as Terry Madison, our guest, has already mentioned, you know, this Wigan defence has worked very hard indeed.
Fielding could have been done then for a grapple tackle. This is James Graham. He's going to have to do 80 minutes tonight, isn't he, Graham? You get the feeling.
They've got to get a good kick away here.
Wilkin does down the line, and he'll invite Cameron Phelps to run it back again, which he does as far as Wellens and Gilmore, and they force him back a couple of metres.
Wait! Go!
Phelps plays it to Roberts. He gets rid of it quickly, doesn't want to drop it again in that position. This is Palliasina.
And again, nobody interested in going for the legs.
Hold!
You know, those ankles have got the least weight.
Yeah, but look what's above them.
That's why you need to avoid it.
3, move!
Riddell is the dummy half. Joel Tompkins, short ball. Here is Flanagan. He's got Tompkins on his inside. That was touched. That was touched and knocked forward. That's a knock on. It's heading free to Wigan. Chance gone, and an important hand in there.
Paul Wellens has saved St. Helens' bacon, and he knows it. Beautiful pass, come on through, back on the inside, and it just went behind. Oh, golden opportunity. He can't believe it, Sam Tompkins. It was a poor pass.
He should have got rid of it quicker, shouldn't he, Mark Flanagan? Maybe a touch of inexperience there, maybe. Remember, it's only Mark Flanagan's second start. And in the cauldron of a match like this, half-time at Hull FC, 12-0 Huddersfield. We're approaching half-time here, and Wigan in possession. Here now is Gleeson, and Gleeson trying to stutter his way through. Riddell gives it to Fielden. And Fielden within 10-11 metres of the line. It's the last minute of this first half. It's a great chance here for Wigan. This is Lulawai, slide the kick in, the chase is there! And they knock it dead, Saints. It's a goal line dropout. They won't be in any hurry to take this. They really won't.
Well, it's amazing. They suggested that with a broken hand he would be out for 4 or 5 weeks. Here he is, saving St. Helens yet again.
Half-time at the Willows, 8:18 to Wakefield. Referee has stopped the clock. They've got 21 seconds. So they might get 1, maybe 2 play the balls. Wellens, oh, it's a great kick. Good length on it. Richards is underneath it.
Well, maybe one more drive and then I'd give it some air.
10 seconds, it's going to go in the air here off the boot of Lulawai, surely. There it is, over the top. Not a bad kick, this. Oh, Melly has made a mess of it. Oh, I think it's been touched down by Wellens. I think Wellens has rescued St. Helens again.
It's touch and go between Sam Tompkins and Wellens. It's a beautiful kick, they're all onside. They'll go to behind the screen now, or should I say behind the post. That's okay. Tompkins is on.
And Tompkins is celebrating, but what happens here?
They both go for it at the same time. Who gets there first? Oh, how do you spot that?
Could be Tompkins. Watch that left hand.
It's 50-50. It is. It's try time. Francis Melly makes a meal of it, and on this occasion, Wellens cannot. You can see there, why on earth did Francis Melly say, give it to me, shove it in the breadbasket. He tried to scoop it away, when possession is also important. What a boo-boo with seconds remaining, and this is Sam Tompkins, the hero for the Wigan side.
It absolutely is Sam Tompkins, the hero. We only needed confirming now by Phil Bentham. And Wigan, with a kick to come, just could take the lead at half-time. Tompkins, the quickest to react, but Wellens was a millisecond out. It's a try for Wigan.
And fully deserved. We said that they'd have to go for the kick with only seconds remaining, but Francis Melly, he'll be dropped off the Christmas card list with this error. It's a poor one, it's a bad one. Should have had it.
Brian Noble said that the turning point in Wigan's season was the defeat at Celtic, but I think he's wrong. I think it was the injury to Tim Smith which brought Sam Tompkins onto the field when they were 10 points down at Hull Kingston Rovers, and he is one hell of a competitor. I've watched some of his involvement close to Wigan's try line. He's just prepared to put his body in the right place, a very brave player, and one who instinctively knows where to be on a rugby league field.
Yes, brave and very, very talented. Pat Richards then, and one of the best kickers in the business here. He needs just 5 points tonight to make it to 1,000 with Wigan. Will be the first Australian to achieve that. There's 2 of them, and Wigan, after weathering such a storm, will leave the field with a 2-point advantage at half-time. Well, they are resilient, if nothing else. They proved that last week against the Leeds Rhinos. They crucially scored just before half-time then, and they have repeated the dose here at Nosey Road.